Okay, we're live. Thank you all for joining me tonight, the Cinephile World Order, and yeah, apologize for the delay here. Not exactly sure what the issue is with my internet, but yeah, it just keeps buffering and going in and out. But right now, I just shut the Wi-Fi off, and that I don't know why it seems to be running better without the Wi-Fi, which I don't even know how that's possible. But yeah, so tonight we're going to be watching one of my all-time favorite action movies here with Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior. Never done a watch party for any of these Mad Max movies before, and yeah, we also have a birthday here for Russell Collier over at Sonny Barger, I believe his username is on here. So I'm sure we'll see him pop up here at some point throughout the night. But yeah, if you guys end up seeing him, down in the chat there, just wish him a happy birthday. But yeah, other than that, hopefully everything's good with you, good with everybody else that's here in the chat right now. I think we have two people down here. But yeah, I provided the Internet Archive link as I always do. It's pinned at the top there. This movie's like an hour 35 minutes, so we should probably be here for an average of 2 hours tonight. So we'll probably get this started somewhere around like the 20-minute mark, something like that. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I remember catching this on TV at a very young age and just being completely mesmerized by what I was seeing on the TV because I'd never seen anything like this at a very young age. And just trying to think on like how I actually saw these movies. I know The Road Warrior, at least with my experience, The Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome, they seem to always be on TV when I was a kid. It's like almost like every other weekend, one of those two movies will be on TV. But the original 1979 Mad Max movie, that's one movie I just could never find on TV. So I actually saw The Road Warrior, Beyond Thunderdome, and then I saw Mad Max, the original film, at a later time. But yeah, overall, with all the movies that we have in this franchise now, what do we have? Like five movies, Fury Road and Furiosa. I like everything, honestly. I really do like everything that, this small franchise has to offer. And I know Furiosa, uh, I like Fury Road a hell of a lot more than Furiosa, but I still think that was a pretty impressive movie overall, especially in this day and age of, rehashed bullshit that we usually get, which is another reason why I'm not a big fan of a lot of newer movies that come out. But yeah, it's just, I, I I think all of us really, that are, a part of this community, all of us in some ways do like action movies outside of, the average horror movies that we're all pretty much into. But I just feel like nothing has compared to The Road Warrior, at least my experience with watching action movies. Like nothing has really compared to this. And Mel Gibson as Mad Max too is just spot on perfect. And yeah, I really wish we could have seen, more action movies from George Miller, who, created the Mad Max movies. I really wish he could have, done a little bit more with that genre, I guess you could say. But I know he did do a segment for the forget which one he did. He did a segment, a story for the in the Twilight Zone, the movie from 1983, which is a bit of a surpriser. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the comments here, say hello to people. And but yeah, actually, yeah, recently, yeah, the channel's been growing like crazy right now. Just I don't think I've ever experienced this before. But what the last stream we did was on the 31st of July. So we were watching Machete, and my channel, I believe, was at like 300. It's like about 7 days, like a week later, I'm right at 400. I think I'm at like 420 now, 420 subscribers. So yeah, it's just I've never had a channel like this. This is my second channel because the first one got terminated. I just never had a channel grow like this fast. So yeah, that's good to see, though. I mean, it's the current goal is to try to get the channel to 500 by the end of the year. So it looks like we'll be reaching that sooner than later. But yeah, it's all, all good stuff to see. I think most of it's really coming from the short section. That's where most of the content is, consistent really on the channel. So I think that's where the subscribers are really coming from because it's definitely not coming from the horror community. It's just not. But it's just, as nice and cool as some people really are in the horror community, can actually be really hard to build your channel just based on that part of YouTube alone. It just that's just the truth of it. There's nothing wrong with them just stating the facts there, but yeah, we'll just see what the channel has in store in the future with everything and see how everything goes. But yeah, as of right now, things are going good, with numbers wise. So, but yeah, let's get to the chat here. We have Tom is here from the Undead of Night. What's up there, Tom? Hey, Sean, 400 subscribers, slowly but surely getting back to the getting your subscriber count back. Yeah, 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 see, that's the thing. It's really hard to build I think for anyone, it's hard to build a channel unless I know some people get lucky sometimes. Like they'll like upload like a video or a short, and they go from like 30 subscribers to like 4,000 somehow. I don't know how people get lucky like that, but the average person on here, it's things just don't go like that. It takes you a while to really build a channel. And like, I don't understand when people unsubscribe. Like, all you have to do is just turn off the bell, really. Is it gonna hurt you to really just add a number to someone's count? I don't that's this one thing I've never understood. Subscribing and then unsubscribing. I don't get that part. But yeah, thanks for stopping by here, Tom, and acknowledging the milestone. We also have Greg Brewers here. What's up, Greg? Hi all. Hope all is well. Yeah, everything's going good here, man. Hopefully everything's good with you. And we got Anthony Chovitz here too. What's up, Anthony? Yo, buddy, saw Naked Gun. It was awesome. Yeah, I think I saw your short review on it or whatever. But I, what I saw with the trailer, I wasn't too like thrilled with what I was seeing. But it seems like people are happy with it. At least that's what I'm hearing. So we'll see if I can find time to get around to that at some point. But yeah, we got George is here too, the Sailor Outlaw. What's up, George? Yo, everyone. Hello, Sean. Uh, Anthony's saying his birthday's coming up soon too. He's got 92 on his test. That's good, man. It's good to hear. Things are looking up, Millhouse, or whatever that fucking Simpsons quote is. I forget what that is. I haven't said it in so long, I forget the quote. Anthony's saying recently got the DVD toward that. Okay. And yeah, his channel is at 929 subscribers. All right, yeah, you're about to roll over on 1K. I think again. So I don't know how many channels you have. I just know you've had a channel before and it went to 1K. I know that. But that's good to see, regardless of how many accounts or channels you have or for anyone on here. I don't know. I do have a backup account, but I don't really use it. So I technically do have two YouTube channels. But, like, I couldn't imagine having, like, 4 or, like, 6 or 8 and trying to keep track of all that. Like, I don't know, I think I'd lose my damn mind. And we got Russell's here. Birthday boy's here. What's up there, Russell? Happy birthday to you, man. And, yeah, he's saying, "Riddle me this. What did the chick say to the other chick when the hen laid an orange instead of an egg? Answer, look at the orange marmalade." But yeah, yeah, it's good to see you here and good that we were able to, get a watch party scheduled here on your birthday and everything. And I was originally going to do Cannibal Holocaust, which is scheduled for, I think, this coming weekend. But I kind of just switched things around. And yeah, I think we're going to find room for another movie here, which I'll get to in a minute and explain. But once I get through the chat here, I'll try to focus a little bit more on what's coming up for watch parties and stuff that's scheduled. But yeah, everyone, let's wish Russell a happy birthday. Anthony's saying that Norberg joke was funny and Naked Gun. Yeah, I've only seen like the trailer for it, so I'm not really, I don't know all the ins and outs of everything with that. Yeah, Russell's saying, wish we had Dare when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember like that's why I'm wearing a Dare shirt, right? Like, when I was in school, like, they really pressed that stuff on you, like, they would give you T-shirts and, like, bumper stickers and stuff. But, like, the one thing I found to be a problem with, like, the DARE program, it's like, okay, they're making it aware to the kids, but they weren't actually setting things up and getting kids to be like, I don't know, to, like, kinda be focused on things that are not drug related or even gang related. So, it was kinda like they would just give you stuff and be like, "Alright, you're on your way now." Like, "Good luck out there staying off of drugs and everything," as it's all thrown in your face. So, it's just like, what is the benefit of all this? And then I know they came out with another program, like, years later by the time I was, like, it's probably around the time I was, like, in 8th grade going into high school. They made another one called GREAT. So it was like G.R.E.A.T. is how they spelled it out and everything, and it was like they gave out, like, white T-shirts with, like, a teal colored writing in it, so it was, like, more, like, vivid and vibrant, so it would catch your eye, I guess, but same thing again with that. It was just like, here's all this free stuff. Now go about yourself out there in the world and good luck staying off of drugs and all these bad things that are, thrown in your face." But I just never understood, like, I just like think that too, even back then. I'm like, what's the whole deal with the DARE program? Like, is it just like, hey, we're telling you to stay off drugs. Now good luck staying off the drugs. So it's just like I just never understood it. But yeah. Yeah, yeah, Craig saying, "Dare to try new drugs." And Anthony's saying he was nominated for YouTuber of the Month. Is that award still going on, that fraudulent award? Is that thing still going on? I know there was, like, horror YouTuber of the Month, and I know a certain subscriber who won that shit, fucked that shit up too for everyone, but I guess you'll have to let me know, Anthony, down in the comments there, like, how or what channel nominated you or whatever. I don't know, I don't really see those award things going on that much anymore, so I was, yeah, not really aware of, like, all that's still going on or people are still running that. I just know, what's funny, like, speaking of that horror YouTuber award, I remember the guy who started it. It was, his name was Andrew Ballina, and he was an Australian guy. And he was like a YouTuber who was very involved in the community for a long time, and I think something happened with his girlfriend, and she got sick, and he had to, like, take a step back from YouTube. But he was the one who started that horror YouTuber award, I remember that, like, going back to, like, around, like, 2019 or something like that, and people ran with it even though he had to, like, take a step back from YouTube. People continued it, and then a certain subscriber managed to fuck it all up, I remember, but yeah, but it was that's, like, probably the coolest thing about that is the fact that, someone started it, had to take a step back from it, and other people kept it going though, so that was, like, really probably the most impressive part of that. But it managed to really help out smaller channels too. I think that was, like, one of the rules, like, you had to be nominated, you had to, like, have, like, less than, like, 500 subscribers, but, yeah, I know that really benefited some people's channels and managed to get people to grow and, you know, give them more confidence to keep creating content and all that. But yeah, yeah, no problem there, Russell, no problem. I'm surprised I even remembered. I'm just bad with dates sometimes. Like I always know like every day, like going into every day, I know what the number is and the day, but sometimes I forget what is going on certain days. But yeah, I just happened to remember that, your birthday was the 5th. I know Mayanne, who sometimes, she comes to the streams in the chat. I think her birthday's on the 13th, August 13th, something like that. But yeah, it's hard to remember all these birthdays sometimes, but yeah, Anthony's saying he's going to see Freakier Friday with Lindsay Lohan. Looks good. I haven't seen the trailer for it, but man, Lindsay Lohan hasn't been in anything in a long time, has she? Or at least to my knowledge. It's funny to say, we're even just talking about that because we recently did Machete. She was in that a little bit of, how she's in that movie. Such a pointless actress to be in a movie like that, in my opinion. But And Russell saying, "Saw, Crawl Space with Klaus Kinski, and he was, creepy in that." Yo, he is really fucking creepy in that movie, isn't he? I think, like, Klaus Kinski already has that kinda, like, demented kinda look in a way, but, like, it's funny that you mentioned Crawl Space. That's another movie I found on TV at a very young age, and I didn't catch it from the beginning, and I was just like, "What's the deal with this creepy kind of, like, Nazi guy who's, like, a landlord at this apartment building, and he's going around, like, the crawl spaces and everything and, like, spying on people, and he has, like, this, like, one girl, like, chained up in, like, a cage in his attic and everything. It's just such a strange movie, but a very fascinating one too, and I would even say very underrated, barely ever gets talked about, but yeah, Klaus Kinski is, he's already pretty, creepy as it is in, like, all of his movies, I guess you could say, but there's, like, a little bit of more of, like, a creepy factor in Crawl Space with him, and it's just like, "What the fuck, man?" But speaking of Klaus Kinski, what's this movie? Do I have it over here? I don't think I have it on hand right now, but movie I finally saw because I recently picked up on Blu-ray is, the 1981 movie with Oliver Reed, with the killer snake, the black mamba, called Venom. Not the movie with, Tom Hardy, not the comic book movie, but, this movie is about a poisonous black mamba snake, and there's, like, a situation where there's, like, a hostage heist situation, and the person that they're going to kidnap is, like, this little boy, but it turns out once they get in the house, they find out that there's a black mamba loose in the house. But, yeah, Klaus Kinski was in that movie, but him and Oliver Reed working together in a movie like that, I was really impressed with that one. Glad I finally saw that, but for years, I didn't know what to make of that movie, like, looking at the poster, I'm like, "Is this gonna be worth my time watching?" I'm like, "I'm sure I'll watch it someday." So I finally watched it, and I was, like, really surprised with it, though. Alright, so, yeah, Russell's got another riddle here. Riddle me this: what has 1,000 feet and 1 head? Answer: 500 men drinking a can of beer. Gotta love simple jokes, right? But yeah, 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 Crawl Space, I believe that is 1986. I think you're right about that. I know I do have that on Blu-ray somewhere in this room. It's somewhere around here, but yeah, it's a movie I haven't seen in a long time either, man. Crawl Space, but man, that one really creeped me the fuck out when I was a kid, seeing that on TV. Like, and I actually think that was the first time I ever saw Klaus Kinski, like as an actor, like in any movies. Like if I can remember correctly right now. But but yeah, it's just thinking on that now too. Like I'm pretty sure that's a movie we could actually get scheduled here for a watch party at some point. I don't know when exactly, but yeah, it's definitely a movie, it appeals to me, that's for sure. But all right, so we're coming up on the 18-minute mark. So, all right, so I say we go ahead and get this going here. Get this one going here soon. Now, actually, real quick, I got a package in the mail today from Phil over at Froggy the Gremlin, who's a subscriber to the channel. And yeah, he managed to surprise me with something else here, and it's so funny, like, the stuff that this guy has sent me, which I still need to make a video for. I need to find the time to do that. It's gonna be coming soon, that's for sure. But all the stuff he sent me is stuff that's either been in my Amazon cart or just been on my radar to pick up, and I'm, like, just really amazed at how well he did without asking me if I owned any of these movies. He just sent me this stuff, and yeah, it's stuff that, I've really been meaning to get, or I just didn't have the money or whatever it was. It was just stuff that I was meaning to get. It's on my radar, and he managed to send me a lot of this stuff and do such a good job with that. Trying to get this player just shut down on me. But yeah, it's a Severin release here on Blu-ray. Finally got Cruel Jaws, which is the unofficial fifth Jaws movie. And yeah, it's directed by Bruno Mattei, but man, this is a fun one. And Yeah, Italian horror, and, I was thinking, I'm trying to I was as I was scheduling movies for the month of August here, I was trying to figure out other Italian horror movies to schedule because we have, the 45th anniversary for City of the Living Dead coming up. I scheduled Cannibal Holocaust, and I think we're gonna squeeze this one in because this is just such a fun movie. I really think this is one of the better bad movies out there. The entertainment value with how, like, there's just certain situations in this movie where you get comedic moments that are just not very intentional, but man, it's just yeah, very unique movie overall, and yeah, it provides a lot of funny moments, that's for sure. I know that this is available on Internet Archive too, so when I schedule that, I'll try to provide the link and everything for that, and I'll figure out what cut we're gonna watch because I know there is 2 cuts of this movie that is off by, like, a few minutes in time or whatever, but yeah, it's another thing is I thought this was, like, limited, and I also thought this was sold out, so I don't know how he acquired this to send this my way, but yeah, it's just really surprised to see this show up today and very glad that I can add this to the collection now. And, I don't care, I'll go as far as to say this. I really hate Jaws 3 a lot. I think Jaws 3 is a very fucking unwatchable, fucking childish movie. But I actually think this is way better. And yeah, this is not, a great movie, award-winning movie, I understand that, but this just provides so much more entertainment value than what you get with that SeaWorld bullshit with Jaws 3. Yeah, it's but yeah, I mean, anyone who's a fan of the Jaws franchise, this is the unofficial sequel, that's for sure. But if you're a fan of those movies, definitely give this one a watch. But yeah, I want to try to get this one scheduled somewhere, probably by the end of the month here. We'll get this scheduled and have a good time with this one. But all right, so let's go ahead and get the ball rolling here. And then I'll get back to the comments here. So yeah, Internet Archive link is pinned at the top. It's in full 1080p HD, so you got no issues there. Should be able to just open that up, access it, hit play, and everything should run smoothly. All right. Oh, you know what? Give me just a few seconds. I will be right back, and then we'll do a 10 to 1. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so yeah, I'm sure we'll have a few people joining in. Greg, I know you're going to join in more than likely. Russell is too. So yeah, if you guys are good to go, we'll do a 10 to 1 now, and then I'll get back to the chat. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play, bitches. There's like a, I don't know why that advertisement's there in the beginning. All right, we got 4 people in the chat. Yeah, it's a quiet night here on the channel. What is today? Today's Tuesday, right? Tuesday. Yeah, we're in August now. It's August 5th. So yeah, it's the first watch party for the month here on the channel. And I see we have Shamarlos is here. Trying to see where here. And yeah, Russ, where I left off. Russell was saying Hider in the House with Gary Busey is so badass. That's another movie I haven't seen in a long time. I'm actually last time it's dawning on me now. Last time I saw that I remember like the early days of digital or get digital cable, on demand digital cable. That was the last time I saw that movie. I remember it popped up on there in like the free movies section. But yeah, that's another one I'd like to go back and watch. Don't have that one in my collection, but yeah, it's definitely a worthy one, worth mentioning. And all right, we have another subscriber here. We have Schultzy 100. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But yeah, welcome to the channel, man. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, movie fiends. I don't even need to play this at all. Play this at all. I watched this movie so many times when I was 14. I could see every scene in my head. Great choice. Yeah, honestly, like there's plenty of movies that are like that same situation for me. But I think I can agree with you that Mad Max: The Road Warrior is. I mean, I just enjoy the movie so much. This is really a movie I try to watch at least once throughout like every summer. I just enjoy it as a summertime watch, with that kind of hot desert atmosphere going on throughout it. But, there is times where like I'll put on a movie and like I've seen it so many times, kind of like for instance, like maybe like Jaws or like Star Wars. And I'm kind of like maybe not feeling it in a way because I've seen it so many times, which I think is another reason why it's important to kind of, when you watch a movie, give it some kind of a good gap of time before you go back and watch it again. But yeah, it's totally understandable. But yeah, yeah, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by and joining in the chat here, Schultz. But I really love the opening of this, how things are really explained, unlike how the original Mad Max kind of just shoots right into the story. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but I think this really explains the situation of how everything transitioned from the first movie into the second one. Kind of like how in Star Wars, when you get the opening scroll, how important that can really be sometimes, how to open up a movie and give you a brief idea of what you're about to experience. But obviously, all the world leaders, everything has gone to shit. It's a post-apocalyptic situation now in this movie. But obviously, people could not see eye to eye, and that's what caused things to get worse over time. And with things getting worse over time, the morality and people's beliefs and going forward and things, going forward and feeling like everything's going to be okay with just living your life. Like, nah, everything is just going to complete shit. And the fact that, in the first movie with Mad Max, we don't really get it on screen, but his wife and his kid are mowed down by the toe cutter and his fucking gang of marauders or whatever you want to call them. But you think that would be enough to make Max not want to fucking go on again, want to make him want to, want to give up on life. But now, maybe Mad Max might not be the same person that he was in the first movie, but he still has a piece of humanity left in him, some kind of belief inside of him. But overall, he is more of a loner now that the world is really going to complete shit. And the real general idea of this movie is like whoever's left in the world, or whoever has some kind of motor vehicle, everyone's just running around trying to hustle some kind of gas out of some kind of situation. I even like the classic music in this too. Like this movie was obviously 1981, but the music alone and even the look of it almost gives me like a late 60s kind of feel. Obviously the movie opens up with, Max he's being chased down because they're trying to steal his vehicle and, all of his fluids that are inside of it with the gasoline and everything. Where's, yeah, there goes Shamarlos. Hey, how's it going there, Scott? Thanks for stopping by. Hope all is well with you. I don't really have many like memorabilia or things very like related to Mad Max, which is why I would really like to see NECA do something with like the Mad Max line, like do some like, Road Warrior figures or something. But at one point, I actually was looking into trying to buy like a modeled Interceptor. Man, they're fucking expensive, dude. Like $500 plus, something like that. But one thing I do have here, which is it's like a small Matchbox car. Let me go grab it real quick. Oh, but yeah, I found this at a flea market maybe like 10 or so years ago. Man, it's covered in dust. Yeah, it says last of the V8 Interceptors, still in the package and everything. It's the only thing I really have memorabilia related to, the Mad Max franchise, but I know it's terrible glare. It's a little bit better. I'm actually getting the movie reflecting off of it right now. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool piece to find at the flea market. But yeah, I still would like to have like some kind of like modeled interceptor like on display in my room, man. That car is just so badass. But we're at the part now, where the Marauders have crashed out and Max is pulled over. He's trying to suck up whatever dripping gas that he can get from the vehicle that's all crashed there. What's this actor's name? Wes Vernon, I think. The guy who plays that's another, like, I don't know what his deal is with this blonde headed guy on the back of his bike, but you can tell that they have some kind of some kind of love in her, some kind of love relationship going on there between them. So, well, you could see that Wes Vernon, his character, I forget his name in this movie, which I should know. You could tell he's built differently. That guy, he's someone who looks forward to feeling pain. Chicken and French fries. What did I have tonight? I had penne pasta with garlic marinara sauce. What I had earlier. Oh, that's good to see, Scott. Always good to see. As Max examines the rest of the Mack truck here, this is where he actually sees one of the Marauders actually like sticking his hand out of the fucking vehicle there as he slowly dies. And he opens up. You get a good jump scare here, actually. He opens up that Mack truck door, and that dead corpse comes flying out. And this is where he finds that little mechanism that plays the happy birthday song. Yeah, the happy birthday to you chime. And this is probably the only time in this movie or even the rest of the movies where you see Max smile. He just has nothing to be happy about. But the fact that he's hearing this old song that all of us know, the happy birthday chime, it's just something that's, gave him a brief memory there of how things used to be, I guess. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Now moving forward here. All right, so you're familiar with Jaws 5, Scott? It's such a fucking fun movie, man. It really is. That up. Let's make sure I know these characters' names, because I am bad with names, even real names. Oh yeah, the gyro pilot. That's right. This guy, this goofball. But yeah, for the most part, the schedule is put in place. Going to try to get Jaws 5 squeezed in there somewhere, probably in the last week of August. But just to go over everything real quick. Yeah, this is where Max comes up on that gyro helicopter and sees that there's a snake around it. The gyro pilot thinks he's so smart here because he's hiding in the ground. So he jumps out of the ground and puts a crossbow on him. So yeah, next will be August 9th, which I think is Saturday. We'll be watching Cannibal Holocaust. And then August 11th will be the 45th anniversary for Lucio Fulci's City of the Living Dead. And August 15th, we'll have the 40th anniversary for the Return of the Living Dead. I know we've been doing a lot of zombie movies, it seems like. Also scheduled From Dusk Till Dawn, August 22nd. And also scheduled No Country for Old Men. As of right now, that's scheduled for August 31st. And get Jaws 5 somewhere in there, somewhere in between there. But yeah, some other things coming up there, as we move along with the rest of this year. A fella, a quick fella, might have a weapon under there, or I might have to pin his head to the panel. I mean, living in this type of, situation, I guess you do need to have your car rigged with explosives because, yeah, everyone's out to get you. But obviously, Gyro didn't know about the dog in the car. I mean, yeah, a dog is another mouth to feed, but a dog will protect you, right? This is where the gyro pilot's going to plead for his life, and he ends up explaining to Max here that he knows of a refinery that's pumping out gasoline all day, every day. So, of course, Max, being the person he is, he's not going to believe this guy. You don't know him from anything. But I love this whole setup here in the car. He's got him tied to the seat, has the shotgun pointed at him, and the dog is holding on to it by a wire and a toy bone. So all the dog has to do is pull that thing, and his face is gone. What's funny? Like, when you buy these movies, because like they're obviously owned by Warner Brothers, when you buy these movies as like standalone editions, they don't really come with features. Like they'll come with like I think like an audio commentary track and maybe like a fucking stupid trailer. But where is it? I bought this Mad Max High Octane Collection. This set here has everything besides Furiosa. And you actually do get a special features disc in the Road Warrior set, which is with the as I was saying with the standalone edition, you don't really get any features with that. So between watching that and also having the Scream Factory Blu-ray for the 1979 Mad Max movie, which has some pretty good features in that, it just sucks that with George Miller when he originally released, the first Mad Max movie, it kind of just went over everyone's head. Some people saw it, but it seems like majority of the public who are into going to the movies and everything, it seems like people just skipped out on it. And once George Miller came around to making this movie here, The Road Warrior, this did a lot better apparently. And a lot of people were starting to realize like, oh wait, there's a movie before this too. So it's just funny how that worked out. And I think even just in general, like even though like this is really such a great action movie, I think this is one of the best all-time sequels ever made. And I did watch this earlier in the week, or what was it, over the weekend. I watched it over the weekend, and usually what I do is if I have the time for it, I try to watch the first two movies, right, like back to back. I just think they transition. Like the first one, I think it just transitions very nicely into what you get with the Road Warrior. Oh yeah, I forgot there's a scene in this movie where Mel Gibson he legit eats fucking dog food. Like, he finds, like, a can of dog food, and he fucking eats it. It's like, ugh. It's like really eating some real dog food right now. Like that nasty, chunky, meaty, wet dog food. Like, God. But, if I was in this situation, I'm sure I'd be eating that dog food too. I'm right at that scene right now. He's got the can opener. 'Cause, like, right now, they're on the top of, like, a rock, like a mountain rock right now, looking down on that gasoline refinery that's run by a bunch of random stragglers. But, yeah, it's seeing how banged up that dog food can is too, like, I bet you that shit's, like, super expired. Like, oh, shit looks so bad. He's eating it like it's fucking, like, I don't know, he's just eating it like it's, like, a fucking piece of pizza or something. Man, he's just I'd have trouble holding that shit down, man. He's eating that shit like it's nothing. Yeah, yeah, that's right, Greg, and, in Jaws 5, there's a guy that looks like Hulk Hogan. Yes, forgot about that guy. He even has the handlebar mustache and everything. But, it's good to see that, some people are familiar with that movie. It seems like, like the average, like, movie fans are not aware of Jaws 5 or Cruel Jaws, whatever you wanna call it. The Max left a little bit of dog food at the bottom of that can for the dog, and the gyro's trying to get a piece of it, so I think just that, like, that scene that we just got through, that really explains, like, the situation of how dire everything is and how cutthroat everything is, how end of the world everything really is, it's like, damn, like, really? Like, you're eating dog food? That's how bad things are? But, yeah, it's how bad it is in this movie. You know what I think would have been a bit more of a more interesting storyline than what like, even though I like Fury Road, I like Furiosa, I like those movies and everything, I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if you're gonna take Max out of the movies and not have him in the movies. What about the feral kid? Why couldn't he get, like, some kinda, like, spin-off movie or something? Like, like it's even though, that character is very minor, doesn't really have any dialogue, he's, like, barking and growling the whole time. I still think it would have been a bit more interesting to see the feral kid get more of a spin-off story if we're gonna, steer it away from Max himself, instead of just creating this, I don't know, this random character who has nothing to do with any of the previous movies. But, it's I still like, the newer stuff that George Miller has given us with these movies, but I guess, to rank these movies real quick, it definitely The Road Warrior, Mad Max 79, I'll put that one next. You know what? I am actually gonna take Fury Road over Beyond Thunderdome, and then Beyond Thunderdome, and then Furiosa. That would be my ranking. So now Max wakes up the next day and he sees that the marauders are chasing this random car that seems to be trying to get away from the oil refinery or the gasoline refinery there. But then another car is jetting out of there now too. So obviously that first car was really just nothing but a distraction to get the marauders to go after them. So the actual significant ride there, that car can actually get away smoothly. Watching Army of the Dead, Scott is. I don't. Isn't that the movie with what's her name in it? Mila Jovovich or whatever her name is, that girl from, like, the Resident Evil movie. Yeah, Joel's story is terrible, man. I'll take Jaws: The Revenge over Jaws 3, just based on the opening scene of that. The rest of the movie obviously is what it is, but I just can't get no enjoyment out of the third movie. I think it's so fucking bad. So now Max and the Gyro here, they're going to get a really good idea of what these Marauders are all about, which is nothing but chaos and brutal violence. Now, apparently, a lot of the stunts that were done in this movie, some people really got severely injured making this movie, which is really another thing that kind of just makes me appreciate this movie so much more. There's a scene in the movie where Max, it's later on in the movie when it's really like coming down to the final act. Max cuts off a guy on the fucking road and he goes off of the shoulder and he's on like a quad and he ends up getting launched off of it doing like a full 360 in the air. Apparently that guy shattered both of his legs in that moment. Like Jesus fucking Christ. On top of that, so many other people getting injured just to get this movie accomplished. But none of these Marauders, none of them have like any like real names, right? They all have some kind of goofball name, like Lord Humongous, the guy who wears the fucking hockey mask. Uh, Schulte saying five was the last. Was that when Michael Caine had all those gambling issues? Wow, I just watched the original a few weeks ago. Great acting. I just know Michael Caine with the Jaws 4. He only really did the movie. I think he made $1 million off of the movie, and the only reason why he did it so he could take that money and buy his mother a house. And like somebody, I think it's like he was being interviewed, and somebody was like, "Did you see the movie?" And he was like, "No, but I saw the house that it bought." That's yeah, Michael Caine playing Hoagie. His name's Hoagie as an airplane pilot. That is a bad movie. Like, how the fuck are you guys gonna try to make a logical movie about a shark taking personal revenge on the Brody family, just ignoring other humans that it could eat, but specifically aiming for the Brody family? It's just what the fuck is this nonsense? So after what Max sees what the Marauders do to this couple here, this lady and this guy who tried escaping, instead of going right to the gasoline where it's being pumped out, he makes the more smarter decision and goes to what is left over from the Marauders and takes that gasoline out of those doom buggies there that are all damaged and everything. There goes the feral kid now with the boomerang. I do like how they incorporate the boomerang in this. I think that isn't that like like the boomerang? Isn't that like I think that is like an Australian thing? I don't know. I don't think I've ever thrown a proper boomerang before. Apparently, like those things are really hard to control though. When you actually like, if you want to throw a boomerang and get it to come back towards you, apparently those things once you throw that thing, it's got a mind of its own. So after Max, he manages to get some gas from this damaged doom buggy. He decides to take the guy that was driving it. Looks like he's pretty much dead at this point. He brings him back. And he's going to try to see if he can get a deal out of this by bringing this person back, trading them in for gasoline. And gasoline is just so rare in this world. It's just as valuable as like having food in your stomach. And Greg saying, crazy how Mel Gibson was American born, but grew up in Australia at an early age. And he lost his Aussie accent years later. Right. Yeah, that's correct. I actually didn't even know that, he was, like lived in Australia. I didn't really know that until like probably somewhere when I was like in like high school or my early 20s. I just know it was like later on once I finally realized. It was like I didn't know he was like from Australia and shit. There's also like another thing is growing up with this movie, I didn't realize that this was really like an Australian movie. I was still, very young at that time, figuring out what accents are what and everything. And they got all their weapons on him. Yeah. The other thing, say anything of that? They had that in the Southwest. Heaps of trouble. Then if I bought it back, yeah. There was a woman in the car. She said, yeah, so this is where Max is going to tell the rest of the gang here that the other people were killed by the Marauders, and he just wants his gas. He keeps, cutting right to the chase. He's like, "Look, man, me and your friend here, we made a deal. I just want to get the gas and get out of here." And now that guy that he made a deal with, he just passed away. He just died. So the leader of this gang here is going to explain to him. He said, "Whatever deal you had with him, that died with him. If you had a contract with him, it was with him, and it died with him." You can't. I feel like you can't blame these people for the way they're treating Max right now. You can't trust this random outsider after like what they deal with daily with all the marauders trying to fucking steal their their gas well or whatever you want to call it. Humongous and his gang of marauders. They're coming back. Get inside. But yeah, I think these people are actually like for the situation. I think they're actually living fairly nicely, like they got pigs, chickens, and everything, and they got gasoline, for any of their vehicles if they have to get out of there. Just sucks that you got these savage, these chaotic savages that just want to fuck it all up for everyone. Greg saying, I remember the wrestling tag team, the Road Warriors. Right, yeah. Yeah, later, the Legion of Doom. That's right. I forgot about that till you said something. All right, Schultz saying, by the way, nice tea, good times. I just want to hang out for a minute. The film and its dystopia affected how I saw the future of our world forever. Yeah, right, man. No, that's all good, man. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us here, and yeah, maybe we'll see you back here again. And just take care of yourself and be safe. Appreciate the support. So yeah, the Marauders got two people kidnapped now. They got that dead girl on the hood of that other car. The Marauders think this is going to be enough for them to give up the fucking well, give up the gasoline hole here. I know I wouldn't give that shit up without a fight. It's not like you can make money off of it. Money is just what virtually worthless in this world. But everyone needs a way to travel, right? You need gas. Trying to think of other movies that Vernon Wells is that. I think that's his name, Vernon Wells. Trying to think of other movies he's been in. Try looking that up if I can get my password. Greetings from the Humongous, the Lord Humongous, the warrior of the wasteland. The Ayatollah of the rock and roller. This guy won't shut the fuck up. I am gravely disappointed. Again, you have made me unleash my dogs of war. You hold your gasoline. The feral kid's smart, because of the fact that, he like digs around in the ground and shit, makes like tunnels and stuff. So yeah, feral kid is probably one of the smarter ones, even though he can't really communicate on a very human level with other people. Damn, he just picked off that fucking rabbit running by. Humongous will not be defied. Feral kid goes out of nowhere and throws that boomerang now. You're gonna hit dude's boyfriend right in the fucking head with that shit. He's wearing like a dominatrix outfit. Of like all the random clothes you could probably come across and find, like you had to set on this, the sexual dominatrix outfit. Oh yeah, I gotta wear this leather that just airs out my ass in the back. And this random fucking goon tries catching the boomerang, gets his fingers chopped off. But you can see, like I used to think that while watching this movie, like how come when the feral kid catches it, he doesn't get his fingers cut off? And you pay more attention closer, you can see that he's wearing a certain glove that kind of is like covered in like animal fur. So I think that's what's protecting his fingers from being cut off. Humongous has got to put him in a sleeper hold now. I understand your pain. We all love someone we love, but we do it my way. You can only imagine what Humongous looks like without that hockey mask on. Almost like I get the vibe from like the back of the head with like, like the mongoloid shaped head and everything. He was probably exposed to some kind of radiation at a young age, and now he's kind of looking like Jason Voorhees, even has the fucking hockey mask and everything. I mean, would you guys trust this band of marauders to just give up the gas and for them to let you walk free? Like, I wouldn't trust these motherfuckers. Yeah, so that's the deal that he's pitching to them. Give up the whole compound and I'll let you leave with your lives. Just walk away, and it will be the end of the horror. Just walk away. You have one full day to decide. I await for your answer. Damn, they're not even gonna give that guy a ride after getting his fingers cut off by the boomerang. No, what a rush. It's a one-liner from Freddy there. Freddy Krueger. Oh, right. He was in Commando. That's another, it's another Arnold movie I haven't seen in a long time. I didn't realize that though, Russell. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, yeah, he's 79 years old now. So yeah, he was in Commando. It looks like overall he's in a lot of lower budget movies though. Apparently he's in Weird Science. He pops up in Weird Science. Oh right, I forgot he's in Stuart Gordon's Fortress too, the 1992 sci-fi movie. That's right. It's another one I'd like to get scheduled on the channel at some point. Another really good role from Jeffrey Combs in that one. Just looking at the rest of his filmography right now. A lot of lower budget movies though. Oh, he was also in that movie Death House from 2017. The movie with like Kane Hodder. It's kind of like the Expandables, but like horror, actors or whatever. Gunnar Hansen, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, Barbara Crampton, Bill Moseley, Sid Haig, Dee Wallace, Felicia Rose. Why the fuck are you in this movie? She's what? Known for Sleepaway Camp, and suddenly everyone loves her, and she's so good at being nobody. It's I don't understand the hype for Felicia Rose or Felicia Rose. Never did. I mean, like, all right, she's fun to watch in like Sleepaway Camp, but like, I just think people overhype her as an actress. Kind of like Danielle Harris, like, okay. We got 5 people in the chat right now. Schultze saying one Halloween, a good friend of mine dressed as the gyro pilot. Great Humongous is maybe one of the best villains of all time. Yeah, yeah. The gyro pilot, man. I definitely would have caught that right away. As long as if he was like dressed like very accurately to the character. Got like a gyrocopter just outside of the house, outside of the party or something. And we got Kenny's here from Kenny's Movie Palace. What's up there, Kenny? Thanks for stopping by. Hello, Sean and everyone. Yeah, hopefully all is well with you, Kenny. Thanks for stopping by here and hanging out. So now this is, everyone's bickering now on what plan to come up with. What's the best way to go forward here? So now Max is going to pitch an idea to everyone there. He's like, you guys want to get out of here? You come talk to me. So now he's going to get everybody to calm down. And they're going to sit here and figure something out here. Do the job, I need 5 gallons of diesel. So Max is explaining to do the job, he needs 5 gallons of high octane gasoline. They don't want to cough that up, but he's got to explain it. It's supposed to be some kind of a down payment. He really just wants his car back. But I think with this random gang of people and with their situation, with Max's situation, they really don't have much to lose. They're on like their last threads here. Yeah, man, Max just wants his interceptor back with as much gasoline that he can carry. That is the deal. That is what he's gonna ultimately get out of this. All right, so he reprised his role in Weird Science. Okay, another one I haven't seen in a while. Weird Science. Another memorable role there from Bill Paxton. So And, like, throughout the movie, you could see how well Mel Gibson works with the dog. It almost like it's I don't know for sure if, like I feel like the relationship and the connection that Max has with the dog, like, realistically, as you see on screen, it gives me the vibe that, like, maybe that dog actually was Mel Gibson's dog, because that dog listens to all of his commands, like, right away. He doesn't have to say it, twice or 3 times or 4 times. It's like whatever he says, the dog listens, like, right on the dime. Right, right, Greg. It's funny too, like, out of, like, all, like, the whole gang of the people that, are living and working at the gasoline refinery thing, it really seems like the Farrell kid is, like, the only one that could truly hang with Max. He's, like, the only one who, like, understands, but he's, like, such a little kid though, you know? But I think it's that feral attitude is what really you know, makes him, like, able to be able to hang with someone like Max. Max obviously doesn't wanna take on some kid, doesn't wanna have to, like, raise some kid, but this kid is, like, early on looking up to Max as, like, an idol, especially in a world that's gone to shit. Max truly is a hero to everyone. Yeah, but I haven't seen Commando in a long time, man. I gotta go back and see that one. Actually, thinking on that now, it's another one I need to upgrade that one. I know I have it on VHS. I can't remember if I have it on DVD or not, so that's a movie I need to upgrade to. I remember when I was a kid and I would, like, find that movie on TV. The one scene that would, like, always crack me up is when, like, out of nowhere, like, these it's, like, early morning, they're in, like, a residential neighborhood, and, like, the garbage men, like, do, like, a drive-by shooting and kill, like, all, like, these random, like, residents and everything. Like, I that scene just always cracked me up for some fucking reason. Probably just because of how ridiculous it was. Yeah, it's right. Michael Berryman was in that too, that Death House movie. That was a forgettable one, man, unfortunately. You can appreciate what they were trying to do with that movie and the effort and everything, but it just, failed. And, a lot of those actors, like Kane Hodder, Gunnar Hansen, I'm just gonna say it, they're just not really good actors. They're better when they're in their costume personas as, like Jason Voorhees or Leatherface. They're good at what they do when they're in costume, but, like, you take them out of that and try to present them as, like, legit actors, they're just not that good. So, that's probably another reason why that movie fails. Schulte saying, "I thought this was a big leap for sequels and really outdid itself." Yeah, I agree. Mad Max was okay, but this was the best movie ever when my friends and I saw it. Appreciate your dedication to horror. Right, yeah, it's I just I know, like, when I was growing up, like, first time I saw, like, Return of the Jedi, that was really, like, mind-blowing and mesmerizing to me, especially, like, just the vast amount of characters and weird living beings and creatures and stuff, just really blown away by that, but, like, it really was the same thing, like, the first time I saw this movie, The Road Warrior, catching it on TV and not as a kid and finding these a lot of these movies on TV, I would usually miss the beginning and miss the title card and have no idea what these movies are called. But yeah, just completely blown away by this movie. Even just the final act when we're on that that strip of road and they're just battling it out, man. That just talk about being on the edge of your fucking seat during a movie, man. This is truly one that'll put you on the edge of your seat. But with me, just liking movies and enjoying them for many years now, this is why I can go back and watch classics like this and just not get tired of them. I'd rather watch a movie like this 50, 100, 200 some fucking times than watch some fucking rehash remake bullshit that we get nowadays. It's obviously being made for a cash grab. Oh, yeah, I'm just like thinking real quick on like newer movies. I actually watched the new 28 Years Later. It's available on Look Movie now. I watched that a few days ago. I thought the movie was okay. It was decent. It kept me interested. I kept, kept watching it, wondering what was going to happen and everything, but good enough for a 7 out of 10, especially with today's standards. I felt like there was some things in the movie at one point, like the father's trying to teach his boy, like, to have the courage to stand up against these zombies and fight them because he's like just too scared of the whole situation. I just felt like some of it was coming off as like almost like a video game adaptation in a way. I don't know, it just gave me a weird vibe while watching it. But, I watched it on my tablet too. I feel like sometimes when I watch a movie for the first time on my tablet, then I watch it on my TV, which is a bigger screen, it becomes a different experience for me. So I'm gonna have to watch, 28 years later at a later time on my TV, try to get a better feel for it. But I thought it was good enough for a 7 out of 10. But yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, and you're curious and you're not aware of the lookmovie.com website, you can easily go on there, www.lookmovie.com, and they got a lot of new stuff on there you can watch. Vernon's getting a raw fucking razor cut right now with that mohawk. No shaving cream. They're just using a fucking knife and cutting his hair. All right, the mission's underway. Vernon Wells was also in Inner Space. Really? I didn't see that on the list, but thanks for mentioning that, Greg. It's another one I haven't seen in years. I actually used to really enjoy that movie a lot when I was a kid. Man, that like gauntlet crossbow that Vernon Wells has on his arm there is so fucking cool. I mean, he's already used it to fucking hurt people. He's shooting out people's tires and stuff. I feel like, if I had someone like the gyro pilot and his gyrocopter, I would be like, I need you up in the air, throwing like pipe bombs down on these guys, like utilize you to the fullest. But I don't think that really happens throughout this movie. See that that 45 that humongous has. I think that's a 45 with that giant scope on there. You can see that like, he must have found that or something. It belonged to some kind of like war veteran or something. You see the little picture in there inside the little gun case and everything. Yeah, he just shot a giant hole in his radiator though, in Max's Mack truck there. Yeah, actually do get a little bit of Yetis. Get some Yetis there for a second. Yeah, a little bit of nudity in this one. Just a smidge. Little brief nudity. Oh man. They just shot out the rest of his tires. I still can't believe Max. Obviously he has the balls and the courage to go up against all these guys on his own, but like I'm just surprised that he thought he could really do this on his own. Now I know the gyro pilot there, he did throw his poisonous snake down on one of those guys, but what are the odds of actually hitting your target? Even though he does, for the entertainment value there, the logic and everything. But now the Marauders are entering into the fucking gasoline refinery. Now they're, the chaos is all over the place now. But there's a lot of inventive things that George Miller did with this movie between coming up with unique weapons and cars and everything, utilizing random parts and turning things into other things. My dogs, run to the gate! Run to the gate, my dogs! And Vernon Wells has such a cool, deep voice when he's yelling like that. I think Vernon Wells should have been in like a punk rock band, especially with that mohawk. Imagine like like him as a lead singer with the shoulder pads on and everything. And those flame throwing torches there at the entrance. That's what I'm talking about. Utilizing, coming up with things and cool weapons and everything. Yeah, to me, this is truly a movie I will never get sick of. Really hard to say too if there's ever going to be an action film that'll really like succeed this one for me. But yeah, if the conversation ever comes up like, yeah, what's your favorite action movie? This is it right here. This is the one that comes to mind for me. Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. Yeah, those torches at the entrance, man, those things are effective. You can run, but you can't hide. But they managed to fight them off. I think that's the first battle that they've actually won against them, the Marauders. The gyro captain's all taking in the attention he's getting right now. He's all pleased by it. So Vernon Wells, his name is just Wes in this. That's like, see, like I think one of the reasons why I don't really remember that is because you don't really get many characters in this movie like calling him by that name. So that's probably why I just was really drawing a blank on that. And Russell's mentioning The Evil Within was great with Michael Berryman. I gotta look that up because I feel like I can like see the poster art in my mind right now. I think that was like a more lower budget movie too. 2017. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I remember now. This is a movie I found at the Dollar Tree and took a chance on because it was only $1. But let's take a look at that artwork. I gotta get rid of that. Why is that not going on? There it is, right there. Like, doesn't Michael Berryman look creepy as fuck on that poster art? And Greg's also saying, I remember Vernon Wells was he was in a MacGyver episode too. Or I used to watch that when I was a kid, MacGyver. Used to think it was such a cool show. You know what I remember? Like, just like I know there was sometimes like, like I would catch an episode as a kid of like MacGyver and then like Unsolved Mysteries would come on like right after it. And like once that music would start playing, like it would scare the shit out of me like right away. No, I miss those days. Oh man. Used to have good quality television to rely on. always had new movies coming out. It's when like, like when you actually had like radio spots, TV spots and trailers and stuff. Those days are gone, long gone. So now Max is, he's going to be parting ways with the gang here. He's like, it was a pleasure doing business with you guys, but I am leaving. Which is, he's got to look out for his own ass, right? So after that battle, the Marauders, the people that they kidnapped, now they're crucifying these people, chaining them up, burning them alive. Max is just sitting there on the side eating more expired dog food. You will know my vengeance, the Lord Humongous. I promise you, nobody gets out of here alive. I like how Max is just not even phased by Humongous. Nothing. Like, he's just like, whatever. Fuck that guy. That guy's just a fucking Looney Tunes motherfucker. I guess this is what, like, the Marauders and Humongous do in the middle of the night as for like entertainment value. They just get all pissed off and get all hyped up and they rev up their cars and they just scream and yell like, I don't even know why Humongous is wearing a neck brace unless he has like a real issue with his neck. But I think he's probably just wearing it because he found it. I guess, yeah, I guess that's what they do in the middle of the night, the Marauders, when they can't sleep, they have nothing else to do, they just start revving up their engines and yell and scream at each other. Interstate was so funny. What's Interstate? Why am I drawing a blank on that? Now it's time to wield and solder. What movie are you talking about there, Russell? Is it Interstate 60, maybe? I don't know. Let's see what you're talking about. It's Schulte saying it's too bad Thunderdome was so lame, but the last two, especially Furiosa, badass, redeemed itself. Yeah, I agree. I see Thunderdome. I didn't like growing up with that movie. I did like it, and as I got a bit older, and you realize it's a PG-13 movie. It kind of tries to go for like more of a younger audience and everything, and I think it was a bad idea to do that. I really do like the fact that Tina Turner was in the movie, even with like, the music that she did for it and everything. I think she did a great job in it, but I do like Beyond Thunderdome. Don't get me wrong. I really do like the movie a lot. But I just think the fact that it's toned down from what you get with the Road Warrior, it's just like such a night and day thing, really. At least it is for me. But I think it probably would have been a lot more successful if they would have kept it on track with the way things are kind of going with the Road Warrior, as far as being like an R-rated, in your face, full fledged action film. But I don't know what. I guess somebody at Warner Brothers was probably like, "Well, yeah, it's, Mad Max saves all these kids and stuff. Yeah, that's put it towards like a younger audience. Man, it'll be great. Everyone can enjoy it. The adults and the kids." Maybe that sounded like a good idea, but it just proved to not really be that good of an idea. Or inner space. All right, that's what Russell was talking about. Inner space. Yeah, right. Yeah, the famous line in Beyond Thunderdome. Who runs Bartertown? Master, Blaster, Master, Blaster. So now the gang really, they really understand Max now. They get the vibe that he's not just some kind of random mercenary that's looking to cause problems for people or whatever. They realize that, Max is just like them. He's just looking to get by in the world. And yeah, he's somewhat of a decent human being. So they're trying to get him to stay. And they realize his worth and his value and how he could actually be a good fighter to protect everybody. Well, he doesn't want to hear it. And I think he kind of gets the sense of that too. I think he gets the sense that, like, oh, you guys just want to use me for my, my experience and everything and how I could better your lives and help you all. He ends up punching this guy. Two men enter, one man leaves. Two men enter, one man leaves. So Max is gonna he's gonna hook up his explosive device back to his interceptor. I'm sure that I bet Max probably thinks, probably thought about it long beforehand. Probably thought, this is probably the way I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have to blow up this interceptor and die with it when someone tries to fucking, overrun me and take my shit. He gave that, or Max gave the feral kid. He gave them that little "Happy Birthday to Me," that little chime playing thing, and you can see how happy he is with that. You can see that, like, he's never had anything like that, any kind of toys, anything that plays like a little sweet song or whatever. He's just completely amazed by it. The feral kid's like, "Fuck these people! I'm going with you, Max. It's just you and me. We'll ride off into the horizon, right into the sunset. Fuck these people. We don't need them." Schultz, he's saying totally one of the best sequels ever. I saw him. Wait, did I? No, I'm sorry. I thought I read this already. Totally one of the best sequels ever. I saw Mad Max a year later, and I thought it was cool, but the Road Warrior was him and his dingo in the wastelands. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. This movie just really steps it up, man. It's just so much more appealing. But I mean, I really do like all the movies, all five movies we have. I really do like. But obviously, if you're as I did, I ranked them or whatever earlier on. One's got to come in, one's got to come in first, one's got to come in last. Yeah, and this bitchin' hot ride interceptor. That's right. Where are we at? Timestamp right now. My timestamp is currently 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 15 seconds. I need to step away from here for just a moment. I need to attend to the dog. I will be right back in a few seconds. All right, sorry about that. Right, Fury Road with Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy did a good job as Max, though. I mean, who knows all the in and outs of why Mel Gibson couldn't come back for the role? Obviously, he had all that crap going on, and check, I could barely even explain all that bullshit that happened with him leaving fucking all those messages and shit with him and his wife and all that shit or whatever. But obviously, he went through some rough moments with that. But I think every major celebrity goes through similar things at some point in their lives. Gotta turn up that nitrous oxide. Damn. Damn, yeah, they just smashed. Oh, that's right. This is where Mac's gonna get fucked up, and his interceptor's gonna get all banged up too. And 59's here. We got the 59 Survivor of the VHS. What's up there, 59? CWO, howdy broskies. Just getting in from work, so I will be in and out of here. All right, that's cool, man. Take your time, do what you gotta do. We'll be here for at least another half hour. But I mean, 59. I know sometimes it's hard for you to get here, but if you ever like want to request a movie and even a time and a day, let me know, man. I'm definitely open and flexible to all that stuff. But yeah, good to see you here. Hopefully all is well with you though. But I mean, it's like another reason why like if you see me stream on like a Sunday, I might go live at like 7 p.m. Eastern time. I try to change those times up so it gives other viewers and subscribers the opportunity just to show up because not everyone can, be here when I want to go live. This is what happens when you send boys to do a man's job. Get nothing fucking done. So now they're trying to steal Max's gas as he is, all banged up from getting into this car accident, crawling away. But now the explosives have been ignited. And they don't know that. They ain't gonna know until it's too late here. Oh, damn, yo. That was a really good cut scene there, going from a real person having the explosion going and then the dummy just blowing the bits like that. That's an effect that'll definitely last longer than any fucking CGI bullshit. See, that's another thing. Like even just, I know this movie very well. Going back and watching it, I feel like this movie just gets better with age, man. So yeah, they're assuming now because the other guys didn't go in to go jack up things from his damaged interceptor. They're assuming that Max is dead from that explosion now. So they think, all right, we knocked him off. We don't have to deal with him anymore. It's going to make it's going to make their whole plan to go get the gasoline refinery and hijack that. They think that's just going to be a hell of a lot easier now. But Max is seriously fucked up here, though. This is probably the one time now when Max is really going to need help from humans. I love that part with the guitars. Talking about in Fury Road, I think. That guy's like fucking sitting there like playing riffs, playing like breakdown riffs with giant fucking like full stack speakers. I forget that guy's name. 59 saying Fifth Element chick, Resident Evil. Yeah, that's her name. Yeah, that's her name. That's right. I always forget that she's in that too. Multipass. Corbin Dallas. One multipass? That movie's fucking fun. But now the gyro captain's gonna come in and save Max. See, I think that's like, in a world like this where everything's gone to shit, it's like the end of the world. You hang out with Max for like just a few hours, you get the sense of who he is, and you realize how this guy could help you out in a way, as long as you're just normal and respectable to him. Because even though Max barely has the will to live, he still has that piece of humanity of who he is inside of him, no matter how bad things get, no matter how many people that he's loved that he's lost. It's how bad things get for him. He still has who he is inside of him. And Russell's saying Outer World, aka The Fifth Element, is great. That's the alternate title, Outer World? I didn't know that. Butter 59 saying Butters as Lord Humongous. Oh shit. Butters. And Schultz, he's saying, wow, I actually like Furiosa the most because I've never seen Anya Taylor-Joy before, and to me, amazing. I think that's the first time I've seen her in an action movie. I think the first movie I saw her in was that M. Night Shyamalan movie, Split. I could be wrong, but I think that was the first movie I saw with her in it. But yeah, it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like I like Furiosa, I really do. But I don't know. I really like Fury Road a hell of a lot more than Furiosa. But I need to watch Furiosa again. Actually, I need to pick up the Blu-ray or 4K for that because I've only watched that movie on my tablet when it like first came out on Look Movie. But I do need to go back and watch it again. I've only seen it the one time. I did like the movie, but I think yeah, if I were to rank everything, I think Furiosa would be the coming in last, but not by much there really. That's right, 59. Just walk away. Give up the gas and just walk away. See now Max is back on his feet again, all stitched up. I do have the 4K for this. I'm not watching the 4K right now. That is the 4K for the Road Warrior right there. But yeah, this movie does look really fucking good in 4K though. That's for sure. But I remember when this came out on 4K, we actually had to do a disc replacement program. There was something wrong with the audio tracks in this, but that was a bit of a headache to deal with. But at least Warner Brothers acknowledged the problem and actually did a disc replacement program. So now Max wants back in with the gang, with the gasoline gang or whatever you want to call him. He wants back in, but they realize how hurt and banged up he is. So now they realize, can this guy actually help us, or will he be a liability? So they really weren't on board with it right away, but now, yeah, they ain't really got much of. Hey, that's another thing. What do you got to lose by letting Max drive the truck and help you out? His experience is still there. Physically, he's worn down, but everything, his experience is still there. His mental state is still there. So what do you got to lose by adding in Max into the situation here? Hey, who would have thought, like, after, like, just like two of these movies that, Mel Gibson would go on to be like, like an A name action actor, you know what I mean? I mean, the charisma and everything is there, obvious to see that, but who would have really thought that he would have blown up the way he did? And another thing is, which I think is very impressive with Mel Gibson, he is really good at directing movies. Really good at directing movies. I mean, he directed Braveheart and was like what, the main character in it and directed such a big movie like that. Even directed Apocalypto. And apparently with Apocalypto, majority of the cast in that were first time actors. A lot of the like I think from what I remember hearing with that movie, like 90% of that cast, that was the first time ever for a lot of those people acting. And apparently, Mel Gibson just trying to give these people confidence in what they're doing. But I don't know. It's just something about Mel Gibson as a director that really just he knows how to get his vision across to people, I guess you could say. But to work with actors that have never been in movies before like that, and to be able to get those kind of performances, the way that movie plays out in Apocalypto, very fucking impressive. I put that gyro captain to work. That's right. Throw some Molotov cocktails down. But I feel like the Marauders, they ain't gonna be phased by no fire. They want fire. Give me the fire. I want that smoke. Well, we're gonna be coming up to the final act shortly. I think we're on like 15 minutes left. Yeah, got about 15 minutes left. So Greg saying that. Oh shit! I just knocked that comment out. Yeah, Greg saying Lord Humongous hockey mask looks like the Jason mask from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning VHS box art, right? Yeah, the street hockey Milek mask. I know what you're talking about. It pretty much is it. But I think like the real mask that the Lord Humongous is wearing, it's actually like metal, and it does have like a screen fencing inside of it. So yeah, it's definitely resembles a goalie mask, like a hockey mask. But like I wonder why it was made metal, like I don't know. Because there is you see some of the other Marauders, they're wearing hockey helmets with like cages and stuff. Wearing like the old like Cooper Bauer helmets. Damn, that is a vicious explosion. I forgot about that. They blew up the refinery here. That is, whew, holy shit. Yeah, I'm at this point, that was really the right thing to do. Fill up with as much gasoline as you can, store it in that fucking cheese bus, and just blow everything else up. Don't let them have anything. That is a vicious explosion. And another thing that's so cool about that and appropriate, it's like you're out in the middle of the fucking outback in Australia. There's no way that explosion could really harm anything, right? Perfect place to have a fucking giant explosion go off. But yeah, we're underway at the final act now. We're on the road. So far, the plan is going as planned. Max is distracting all the marauders from the real, because you could say the real gold that they want. The marauders just want that gas. They think that fucking tanker's full of gas. They're gonna learn though. They're gonna learn that they fucking wasted their time on this shit. And Schulte saying Michael Caine always seemed like a good guy and a serious actor, a man who would be king. Yeah, I've always liked Michael Caine. I mean, even him and like Christopher Nolan's Batman movies as Alfred, man, very impressive. But yeah, Michael Caine definitely had a great career as an actor and everything. Thank God he's still with us too. Yeah, I can see that, Greg. Yeah, the feral boy, feral kid reminds me of Warwick Davis. Yeah, Willow, right? Yeah. Like yeah, like even like all like the animal fur like wardrobe he's wearing, like even looks like he could be in Willow. Yeah, boomerang. That's what I thought there, Russell. Yeah, boomerangs are Aussie oriented, also Australian oriented. But now, yeah, Wes has just thrown that hook up on the Mack truck, rip the fucking driver's door off. Coming up on very intense scenes here. See, the crossbow, I think the crossbow is a very effective weapon in a situation, a movie like this, because technically it can't really run out of ammo, right? Unless you run out of, I guess, you run out of arrows. But I feel like, you can walk up to a dead corpse that you shot and just pull them out and you got one again. Damn. Situation is dire. Oh, the handicap guy just got clipped with a fucking arrow that made him drop his fucking bag of gasoline, and now he's going up in flames. He's trying to put the fire out. Man, they got that tanker wrapped in barbed wire too. I don't think I ever noticed the barbed wire before. You got that one badass hot chick too, man. I would tell her, I'd be like, leave the pads on. Leave the pads on. Let's get it on, honey. I gotta say though, first time I saw this and I saw her get hit with the arrow and she obviously, she dies and passes on. I was really surprised with that. I thought that was a character that would, survive to the end there. Handicap guy's still going up in flames. Jesus Christ. So now, yeah, now all the marauders are trying to climb onto the tanker. There you go, Max. Wow. We got 4 people left in the chat. 59 saying, Sir Michael Caine, first saw him in Zulu at 12 years old. Wow, it's a movie I haven't heard of in a long time. I remember some kid I grew up with. I remember his dad made us watch that one night. And I remember, like, as the movie, like, in the beginning with watching it, like, we weren't interested at all. But as the movie went along, we actually started to get into it more and understand everything. But yeah, that's right. Michael Caine is in Zulu. We saw that at 12 years old. Amazing war movie. It really is. Oh, there goes that stunt where that guy shatters his legs and he spins in the air and shit from Max cutting him off the road there. But yeah, 59 saying just found the movie Shiner with Michael Caine, a VHS demo tape for 99 cents. Cool find there, 59. Sounds like a rare one too, actually. 59 saying I love buying the demo tapes that say they are not for sale. Yeah, Zulu is a masterpiece. But like when I that might have been about the age I saw that. Was probably around that. I just know one night I was sleeping over a friend's house and his dad's like, "What are you two watching?" And like we were just like watching random shit on the TV. And he's like, "All right, well, you two are gonna watch Zulu with me." And we were like, "What the fuck is Zulu?" Oh man, when that guy gets sucked in on the tire and he goes right under the fucking tanker and he gets run over. Jesus Christ. That is a wild stunt right there, man. But yeah, my friend's dad made us watch Zulu. We weren't feeling it off the bat in the beginning, but as the movie started moving along, we started getting into it. And we was like, wow, this movie's actually really intense. That's another one I don't hear people ever talk about. It's I understand it's a bit of an older one, but I still think it's a very relevant and effective movie, though. 59 saying, breaking the law, breaking the law. I actually do not have this movie. What, dude? You need to pick up the motherfucking Road Warrior, bro. Every movie fan needs this. They need the whole damn Mad Max franchise, really, but this is a must-have for collectors, bro. What are you doing? You need to get that. I know you're mostly VHS. I mean, if you collect Blu-ray, I do have an extra Blu-ray of the Road Warrior. I could send it to you at 59. Just say the word, I'll send it to you. It ain't gonna cost me nothing to ship it to you. You and I would have to exchange info through like emails or whatever. But yeah, if you're interested in a free copy of the Road Warrior on Blu-ray, I'll send it to you. I definitely have a couple. The reason why I have a couple copies is because that is another movie that was showing up at Dollar Tree for $1 on VHS. Just the standard studio Warner Brothers release. But yeah, 59. If you want a copy of the Road Warrior, I'll gladly send it to you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they're done using they're done using anything that's involved with gunpowder, any kind of guns or anything. All the whips and the chains and the ball and chains are all coming out. So Max has just slammed on the brakes with the tanker. And it looks like Wes is just falling off the front of the fucking truck. You got Pharaoh Boy trying to fight off the other guy, literally biting people. Running out of help, Max. Oi, oi, come on, boy, jump. He's trying to tell the Pharaoh Boy to jump. He's not jumping until he fucking bites the shit out of that other creep. Here goes Humongous, a piece of shit. And they're running out of people, man. Things ain't looking good. I think Max knows that. Yeah, Schulte saying I didn't know he was born in the States at all. Only I've seen it once. Need to get a Blu-ray. Yeah, if you're talking about the Road Warrior, I don't either that or Zulu. You're talking about. Yeah, like I said, 59. If you want a copy of the Road Warrior, just let me know. Oh no, it's where the gyro captain's crashing down now. Humongous managed to shoot him out of the sky. God, I love the music here too. Fuck, dude, they damaged so many vehicles to get this movie made. It's so crazy. Now Max is turning the fucking tanker around. But Max is the only one that knows there ain't no fucking, there's no fuel in that tanker, right? 59 saying my next Blu-ray Criterion is Lost Highway. I have that one actually, the Criterion for Lost Highway. David Lynch, $32, but it also has the 4K. Dude, you can buy it with just the Blu-ray. You know that, right? Like they have a Criterion has a 4K and Blu-ray that you could buy, and then there's just a Blu-ray. Pull that out. Actually, I think this is the 4K. No, I can't remember. Oh no, I have just the Blu-ray. Yeah, this is just the Blu-ray. And I think I can't remember right now. Maybe it is the 4K, but I know one of the releases, all right, maybe it is the 4K, has a slide box. It's like a slide box. This is like a regular case, but you should be able to get this like on Amazon for like $20, something like that. I think it's like $19.99 for the Criterion Blu-ray for like $20. Oh man, that explosion at the end there, man. You got Wes hanging on the front of the fucking grill of the tanker. And Max made sure to send him for a nasty ride, but he ends up, going off the side of the road there. Thank God that thing wasn't full of fucking gasoline, though, right? It would have blown the fuck up. I think Mel Gibson was born in New York and then moved to Australia. I think you are right about that, Greg. It sounds about right. Humongous is the shit. What if he said that in the movie, Schultz? I am humongous and I am the shit. Now the Marauders are, they go up on the crash site. They think they're going to go ahead and get a bunch of fuel and gasoline. They see that there's nothing but dirt and sand pouring out of it. So this whole fight has been for nothing. Max played the shit out of you, Marauders. Now you ain't got jack shit. Nothing but burn time and burn gas. Just like Kelly LeBrock was born in New York and then moved to England. There was a humongous wrestler. Russell's saying, that kind of jives something there. I can't remember exactly. 59 saying, even if they walked away, they would have still killed him. Yeah, exactly. Or at least tried in the Road Warrior. Definitely. I agree with you there. Humongous would have made a good Jason, right? 59 saying that is awesome, Sonny. I vaguely remember this. The rabbit hole research time that would be good in a celebrity deathmatch style short. Yeah, make it happen, 59. Totally all that radioactive scar mutation going on, bro. Yeah. And Schulte saying, hey, have you been on my subscription? Oh, you have been on my subscription list for a while, dude. Gonna try to be here for Jaws 5. Never seen it, so we'll try and check that out. Blessings to all. Have a good evening. Yeah, thank you very much, man, for hanging out. And take care, be safe, and we'll see you in the next one. But yeah, I'll definitely get Jaws 5 scheduled. You know, it's probably going to be around the third or fourth week of this month, somewhere around there. Probably like sometime after the 20th. That's right. That is his name, Emil Minty, the feral kid. That's yeah, that's his name. But now you see Max is just completely and utterly physically drained out and exhausted. So now everyone has survived. Feral Kid goes with the gang of people he's been with the whole time. Gyro Captain looks like he's got a new he got a new woman on his side wing there. I guess you could say now he can go gyro captaining with her if he wants. And this is the Feral Kid talking now as an adult. He became the chief of the Great Northern Tribe. See, that's another thing that kind of goes into the movie with the next movie. Like, what the fuck happened there? And that is the last we'll ever see of the Road Warrior. And now he only lives on in our memories. So that is Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, my favorite action film of all time. And I highly doubt anything's ever going to beat this out. We'll see. We'll never know what'll be released in the future, but yeah, when I think of, retro action movies, stuff I've grown up with, this is the number one movie that comes to mind for me. And yeah, always have a good time going back and revisiting this movie. Glad I finally scheduled this one for the channel. Schultz, again, you have forced me to unleash my dogs of war. You imagine like imagine humongous though, like in like a band like or like yeah, like Cannibal Corpse or something like that. He's got the look, man. Really does. 59 saying, I am going crazy. I swear I read this was Fury Road work as me loopy. Yeah, you're fucking up over there, 59. This is the fucking motherfucking Road Warrior. That's another very underrated war movie right there. Dogs of War with Christopher Walken, man. Yeah. That's one I'd like to have in my collection at some point. I wonder if thinking like Kino Lorber might have like released that or something. That's a movie I'd like to go back and see though. I think isn't Tom Berenger? I think he might be in that movie too. I forget, but yeah, it's definitely an underrated one in my opinion. Dogs of War, 1980, I think that came out. And 59, you found that on VHS. I recently found that on VHS, Russell. Awesome movie cover art released by Virgin Entertainment VHS. Fortress is great. Yeah, it is, dude. Honestly, Russell, I would expect that at some point in the future, that is a movie I do want to try to get a watch party scheduled for. I really do enjoy that one, the Christopher Lambert movie. What was that film? What was that film, Sean? Not sure which one we were talking about. Fortress? I don't know, Russell. Sorry, man. Linda Blair is hyped to me at times. Great in Hell Night, though. Right, right. Definitely agree there. All right, 59 had to get out of here. You got some things to do. That's all right, though. But yeah, we're going to end this here in about 2 minutes, something like that. We're almost at the 2 hour mark. Greg saying, my favorite Mel Gibson movie is probably Lethal Weapon. Yeah, I can't go wrong with that one. That's for sure. It's weird. The end of this Blu-ray here, when the credits are done, it just says exit music. I guess I never paid attention to all the credits up until this point. That's weird. I just found that really weird. I don't know why a Blu-ray does that. No, Russell's mentioning Braveheart. Man, I don't think it's very easy to pick a favorite Mel Gibson movie performance. Really not, man. Greg's saying he watched the Street Trash remake. It sucks, man. I've heard mixed things about it, but it just hasn't been enough for me to get up off my ass to go see it sooner. But I really do love the original Street Trash movie. That movie provides so many good laughs, man. Very, very fun fucking movie that is. So Russell's mentioning Hoboken Hollow is based on the Texas slave ranch. Not a bad film. I've never seen that one. And Johnny's here from the Wild Guys at the very end of the stream here. Holla, bro. Just hopping in for a minute. Take care, homie. Yeah, thanks for stopping by at the end here, Johnny. And let off some steam, but that's sure let off some steam. Yeah, that's right, man. It's another birthday over, another year behind you there for Russell, man. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed your day, though, Russell. Hopefully you had a good birthday and everything. And just glad that I was able to remember your birthday and get a stream scheduled here for your birthday and everything. We also have coming in here at the end, Rob over at the Lost Boy Rob. What's up, Cinephile? Hey, everyone in the chat. Yeah, thanks for stopping by at the end here. Two men enter, one man leaves. Yeah, that's beyond Thunderdome, but a lot of good lines in that one. So Johnny's saying, Sean, I finally watched Furiosa last week, 4K HDR, Dolby Atmos on my 65-inch Samsung. Loved it, looked and sounded excellent. That's good to hear, man. Really good to hear. Yeah, that's right. It's another one that's worth mentioning, Hacksaw Ridge. That was directed by Gibson, man. That's a very impressive war movie. All right, we're gonna go ahead and end this one now. But oh wait, I see we got another person. Jesus Christ. Sorry about. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not missing anyone. But yeah, we have Anthony's here. I had that shirt in white from a dare officer in like 91. Yeah, they did come in like white. Mostly like I think their colors were like red, black, and white or whatever. But yeah, almost everyone had a dare shirt, right? Yeah, good to see you here, Anthony. Thanks for stopping in at the very end here. 59 came back saying, I have such a similar story, broski, about my friend's dad having us watch movies. He pulled out a Daz boot on us about 12 years old and said, we would be men after watching it now. That friend's dad. Yeah, that friend's dad was awesome, he was saying. So Anthony's saying, yeah, he likes Thunderdome a bit more. There's nothing wrong with that. See, in my opinion, all the Mad Max movies are good. So picking one over the other, there's really no wrong choice. But nothing tops the Road Warrior for me personally. Um, just want to make sure that I acknowledged everyone before we call it an official night here. So yeah, that'll be the last comment there from the Lost Boy Rob. Later, all and later to you all and all you fine folks. Jesus Christ, can't talk, but all right. So the next time we'll be live here on the channel will be August 9th. I believe that's this Saturday. We're going to be watching Ruggiero Diodato's very infamous 1980 movie, Cannibal Holocaust. That's a movie I've never done a watch party for before. If I remember correctly, I think I did do a watch party with someone else on their channel years ago. So yeah, it'll be a first time for me acknowledging that movie on the channel, and technically is one of the first found footage movies, a part of the horror genre. I'm not very big on cannibal related movies, but Cannibal Holocaust is a very in your face type of movie, very important film, I think, for what it is. And yeah, there's some people out there who appreciate it and see it for what it is. Some people who are offended by it and take it to be a little too much of what it actually isn't. But yeah, that's when we'll be live here again, August 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to watch Cannibal Holocaust. But I just want to make sure I'm not overlooking anything else here. But all right, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and end this one now. So all right, thank you all very much for hanging out with me here tonight to watch The Road Warrior. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you all in the next one, everyone.